how to wrap a present for your wife. Because that's important. It really is. When Janice and I first got married, we had a lot of adjusting to do. And her family had their traditions. My family had our traditions. And we had to adjust, just like you and your family had to adjust when you got married. So what happened was that Janice's family wraps everything. Everything in the sock gets wrapped. Everything on the floor gets wrapped. They spend more on wrapping paper than they do on actual presents in that home. My family is cheap. They don't wrap anything. And so we had to negotiate. And so in negotiation, I wound up having to wrap everything for Janice. That's how marriage works. So, just want to do a little basic demonstration tonight, guys, on how you can wrap a present for your wife. Okay, so Christmas Eve, you're coming home from work and you go, oh snap, I forgot to buy my wife's Christmas present. So you stop at the Irving and you pick up your wife's Christmas present. Okay, now, that's too small to put under the tree. I'll tell you right now, guys, gentlemen, if you buy something that small and put it under the tree, your wife will not be impressed. They will not. What you need is a bigger box. Exhibit A. Okay? So you take this and you put it in here like that. Now, here's the thing. If you leave it there like that, it's going to rattle around, it's going to be, and she'll know it's a small gift in a big box. So, what you want to do is you want to find tissue. Now, unfortunately today I did not have time to buy tissues to put in there, and I was thinking to myself, what can I put into that box that's like tissue, but will help it to keep from rattling around? So, here we go. All right. I would recommend that you buy the 1-ply, okay? Because it's got that nice crinkle to it, and it will also keep things from rolling around. So I'm just going to try and put as much of this in here as I can. Perry's going to shoot me when he comes back because I'm using up the church's supply. But this is as good as tissue. I'm not sure if you can get colored ones originally anyway, but you may want to look into that. So there you go. Now, the second thing that you need to do is you need to tape the box up, okay? And so you need to take something like this. Okay? Hopefully it works. Not really. This is why we didn't use it when we moved. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so you want to do that, okay? Now, you want to find a nice wrapping paper for it because women appreciate that kind of thing. So I was out the other day and I found a nice wrapping paper. It's a very festive Star Wars one. And, well, it's green. It's got green and red and all of that sort of stuff in it. And I'm going to give it to Heidi afterwards so she can give some to Pastor Evan because we know how he likes Star Wars. Okay, so you take it like that, and yeah, that looks about right. Get a pair of scissors, okay, and cut straight as you can. Jackknives really don't work on this sort of a thing, but so place it under the box like so. Okay? And you fold it over the box like so. Okay? Then you fold this section over the box like so. Okay? Now, some people, when they're going to tape it down, they like little tape like this, right? I say if you're going to go, let's go big, all right? Do it all in one swipe. And there you don't, look, some people will spend 5 minutes doing that. I just spent 1 second. So there you go. And then you fold the ends like this, okay? Put it like that. Oh, sorry, but do it again. Whoops. It's not a perfect science, but it will ultimately come together. Trust me on this. As Martha says, it's a good thing. Hey. I'm working as fast as I can here. All right. Okay, so it's taped down, all right? Now, women are sneaky. You know that, I know that, we all know that. Because you know as soon as you put that present underneath the tree, she's going to be in there shaking it like that. And sometimes women have this unique ability to open a present without even letting on it's been opened. So here's what I suggest you do, guys. If you're going to put the present under the tree and you want to keep her from getting into it early, here's what we got to do. Okay? what you want to do is you want to do, whoops, turn that on. There we go. Like that. And worked great in rehearsal. There we go. Okay. Thankfully, I didn't have any of those in. So, now they're not going to be able to get into it, okay? Now, some women, they like to have ribbon. And I say, why do you need ribbon when you've got duct tape, okay? Use duct tape. It's every bit as good, and you can make it work. It's very festive. They have all sorts of colors this year. And just do it like that, okay? We will entertain. I did not come here to be made sport of. I'll have you right know. Okay, now some people like to put little bows on things like that. Now, you know what I say. If you're going to go big. All right. I'm just trying to get this peeled off here, and I'm going to need tape for that because I can't get the peeling off it. So here we go. Okay. All right. Now, what woman would not want something that gorgeous under the tree for her? That was a rhetorical question, ladies. Yeah. Well, there you have it. A beautiful way to wrap a present for your wife. Kind of interesting how we look at Christmas sometimes, isn't it? Sometimes we look at Christmas through the wrappings. Sometimes we forget what the real gift at Christmas time was. You know, in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, it says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, and Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace." Sometimes we get people around us and they don't understand, they don't go to church, they have really no religious background, and they really don't understand why we celebrate Christmas. And the bottom line when it comes to Christmas is why we celebrate Christmas is because of God the Father's gift to us in Christ. How we celebrate Christmas is our gift to God the Father. E.B. White said this, "To perceive Christmas through the wrappings becomes more difficult with every year." The bottom line of Christmas is that God the Son is God the Father's gift to fallen man. And when we adorn that gift with all the trappings of a cheap and perishing culture, we demean the gift and we actually make it harder for those who have not received it to actually understand and accept it. I'm not saying that traditions don't have their place. As I said, every family has traditions. But when the traditions take over, we replace the truth. And when we replace the truth of Christmas, we're lost. Paul had a problem with this with the Ephesian church when he wrote to Pastor Timothy, and there were a group of people there who were replacing the tradition, or not the traditions, but they were replacing the truth of Christianity with the traditions of their society and their culture. And it was bleeding into the church, and this is what Paul wrote to Pastor Timothy. He said, "Don't let them waste their time in endless discussion of myths and spiritual pedigrees. These things only lead to meaningless speculation, which don't help people live a life of faith in God. The purpose of my instruction is that all believers would be filled with love that comes from a pure heart, a clear conscience, and a genuine faith." But some people have missed the whole point. They've turned away from these things, and they spend their time in meaningless discussions. Sometimes when I look at Christmas in the culture, I wonder what our unsaved friends think. I wonder what our unchurched friends who don't have any religious background think about that. I wonder what they really think we're celebrating. Are we celebrating our families because we spend an inordinate time of trying to make the perfect family dinner and the perfect family this and the perfect family that? Is that what we're celebrating? Are we celebrating consumerism with all of the money that we spend, and all of the presents that we buy, and all of the credit cards that get maxed out this time of year? Are we celebrating that party spirit that the culture has adopted. And it seems to be that, everybody, when we talk about Christmas, if you have a workplace, everybody's talking about the Christmas party that's coming up. We've got a Christmas party coming up, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And I have folks in my life that they're not Christians, and the only thing that they think about is, what kind of liquor is going to be served at these parties. Is that what we're celebrating? Or are we just trying to get rid of the seasonal blahs? 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 6, it says, as God's partners, we beg you not to accept this marvelous gift of God's kindness and then ignore it. I think that's a perfect description of sometimes what we do in our culture with Christmas. Remember what I said. The reason we celebrate Christmas is God's gift of Jesus Christ to fallen man. How we celebrate Christmas is our gift to God the Father. But sometimes we ignore the real gift. Sometimes, we kind of give lip service to it, don't we? We may come out to church, we may come out to the evening service and all of that sort of stuff, to the communion service and all of that sort of stuff, but is that what we're really focused on? See, even Jesus had to correct the Jewish population when he came, and he said this, Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you, for he wrote, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Their worship is a farce, for they teach man-made ideas as commands from God. For you ignore God's law, and you substitute your own traditions. We need to be careful of that. Again, I'm not saying that traditions are necessarily wrong, but I'm saying that when the tradition of making sure the whole family gathers around the TV to watch Charlie Brown's Christmas one more time or to watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas one more time, instead of having the tradition of reading the gospel story, you've replaced that gift with a tradition. And so there needs to be balance in these things. When we wrap up Christmas in nothing but traditions and big bows and paper, this is what you get. This is what God sees when it's our traditions and not our appreciation of the gift. What happens sometimes is that we replace the actual spirit of Christ with the spirit of a holiday. When in reality, we have forgotten what the real gift is. Now, I told you that I had gone and picked up a gift for Janice, and it's true, I did. But I want you to know something, that the gift that I picked up was 22 years ago. And buried under all of this ugly wrapping paper and all of these bows and all of this festive stuff is probably the most important thing I've ever bought in my life. And that would be this. It's the engagement ring that I gave to Janice all those 22 years ago. I'm going to give it back right now because she gave me the look when I asked her for it. Said, honey, do you trust me? Not really. In that ugly box is the most precious gift I have ever bought. Don't put an ugly box around your Christmas this year. Let the gift shine. Let it be precious. Let it be something and someone you adore.